Good afternoon, and thank you again for listening today. As of 2 p.m. today, there have been 3,037 positive cases of COVID-19 in Missouri, including 53 deaths. Over 32,000 Missourians have been tested at this point. As I've said before, COVID-19 has had a serious impact not only on public health, but also our economy. Business operations have been limited and many people have lost their jobs. Over 100,000 people have filed for unemployment this past week. Last week, the Missouri Department of Labor received news that the $600 federal supplement for those that are unemployed will be effective the week starting March the 29th. The Department of Labor has since received federal guidance, and these payments should begin to be paid as early as the week of April the 12th. In addition to the unemployment, workers' compensation for first responders also have been an area of concern. Our law enforcement officers, firefighters, and EMTs are tireless public servants who compromise their own safety to ensure the safety of others. They risk themselves each and every day. As a result of their duties, they are more likely to be exposed to COVID-19 while on the job. To help with this, we are directing the Department of Labor to implement an emergency rule that will help ensure first responders who contract COVID-19 are covered. This emergency rule will create a presumption that first responders who contract COVID-19 did so in the line of duty. Today, Director Hugh is here to provide more details from the Department of Labor. Director Hugh?
Good afternoon. As the Governor has already stated, we are enacting an emergency rule today. Because of the Governor's leadership and prompt issuance of the executive order declaring the existence of a state emergency, the Department of Labor has responded by proposing an emergency rule to make sure that first responders are taken care of as they risk their health to provide for all Missouri citizens. The rule allows first responders who are quarantined and or become infected by COVID-19 to be covered by workers' compensation. Specifically, it creates a presumption that a first responder's illness was directly related to the performance of their official duties. Without this emergency action, it would have been difficult for Missouri's law enforcement officers, firefighters, and EMTs to prove that their illness was contracted in the line of duty. This new rule allows them to focus on their important life-saving mission, knowing that they and their loved ones will be provided for by the Workers' Compensation Program. The fast action by the Department and its Division of Workers' Compensation to send the new rule to the Labor and Industrial Relations Commission for approval means that the new rule will go into effect in 10 days. However, it's written to cover first responders who may have already been infected or exposed to the performance of COVID-19 in the performance of their life-saving mission before the date of the rule has become effective. Do you want me to address that? Okay. In addition, we know at our department there's been a lot of public attention related to unemployment and the unemployment insurance program. You've already heard about the historic and unprecedented volumes of claims filed in Missouri, and it's even higher than was recorded at the height of the recession in 2008 and 2009. Last week alone, we took over 104,000 claims, and that's a 147% jump in 1 week. To date, we've already taken more claims in the last few weeks than for the entire year of 2019. On average, we're receiving more than 100,000 calls and emails per day, and we know the public's need is great. So our staff is working as hard as we can and as quickly as possible to serve as many as we can. We've increased the number of staff and continue to look for more efficient ways to handle the volume of incoming emails and calls. Staff are already working overtime, not only to take the claims, but process them, so eligible unemployed workers can get paid as quickly as possible. We've also requested the assistance from other state agencies to provide such support to citizens, and we're training those folks as quickly as possible to put them on the available lines. Let me ask you to please take these 2 steps before picking up the phone and calling us. First, check out our frequently asked questions at labor.mo.gov/coronavirus. We update these FAQs on the website and send this updated information to our staff taking your incoming calls at the very same time. The answers on the website will be exactly the same as the answers the staff are going to position to give you. Number 2, watch one of the videos on our website at labor.mo.gov/des/videos or click on the unemployed worker menu on our website. There are a variety of videos that walk through everything from how to file an unemployment claim, what to expect after filing a claim, what's a weekly request for payment, and whether you can work while drawing unemployment. We understand that there are a lot of people new to the unemployment program, and these videos can help explain the program process and the benefits. If you do call and speak with one of our team members, please remember that they are there to help you. We acknowledge that frustrations are high when the public is used to instant access to products and services provided by private sector companies like Amazon, FedEx, and PayPal. While we aspire to serve at those levels of delivery, our systems are just not there yet. And we hope that you will treat our team members with courtesy and recognize that they are helping thousands of people each day through every resource we have available to us. Lots of your questions coming in through the phone lines have been about federal unemployment programs. And let me just give you an update about that federal guidance. On Saturday, April 4th, Missouri received the first operational guidance related to the Federal Pandemic Unemployment Compensation, or FPUC program. The FPUC provides that those who are eligible for at least $1 of unemployment compensation benefits during the week will receive the $600 per week federal supplement. We expect those payments, as the governor said, to begin as early as the week of April 12th. We've already started the back-end processing to update our technology systems. And again, that needs to be in place before the program can actually pay out benefits. All who are eligible for unemployment compensation will be eligible for the $600 supplement with the week beginning of March 29th. So for those who are filing unemployment payment requests that week, both new initial claims and weekly certifications, you will receive that $600 federal compensation. These monies will be paid retroactively for, again, claims filed on or after March 29th. And we expect these payments to go out as early as next week, April 12th. For many of you who are self-employed or who have exhausted your benefits or who otherwise would not be eligible for regular unemployment benefits, we know that you have a lot of questions, too, about your eligibility for the new federal unemployment pandemic programs called Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, or PUA. On April 5th, Missouri received guidance from the U.S. Department of Labor on PUA. And because of the complexity of that program, we need to closely analyze the guidance to actually set up the claims in our IT systems so that we can actually stand up the program within our U-Interact system. We're proceeding as quickly as possible to incorporate these changes. And because the PUA program is not up and running in the U-Interact system online right now, those of you who may have already filed for unemployment benefits may have received a denial notifying you that you weren't eligible. That's because we don't have wages for you in our system, since you typically would not have paid unemployment taxes. We update this website with the IT claims system, and we will definitely make sure to update our website to make sure that you are all notified when the PUA claim system is up and running. Individuals who are eligible for PUA will also receive the $600 federal supplement, and this supplement payment will be made retroactive to claims filed on or after March 29th. Let me reinforce the fact that the best way to file an unemployment claim for us, whether it will be a regular unemployment claim or a pandemic unemployment assistance claim, will be through our website, uinteract.labor.mo.gov. That's the website for the system. And we know a lot of filers are new to the program, so we have a lot of resources on there. But just so you know, 90% of all initial claims have been successfully filed online without assistance from the department, and eligible workers are already receiving payments through that system. You can file your initial claim there as well as your weekly certifications online using your smartphone, tablet, and desktop. We're monitoring the system 24/7 for issues, and we've added additional phone lines and other resources to try to address the questions that are coming in as well. But again, we're working very hard to answer those calls. And please visit our website to take a look at those frequently asked questions and our other resources before you actually try to call us. When you do call us, we're also using other electronic means, such as interactive voice recordings, as well to help you answer your questions. And again, we're going to be updating the website as soon as we get guidance and clarity to make sure that everyone understands how to file a claim and how to deal with this historic time for all of us. If you have questions and you're unable to reach us on the phone lines, please make sure to send us an email at esuiclaims@labor.mo.gov. Include your name and your phone number, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. But because of historic volumes, again, it may take us a few days. Let me just go through a few common questions that we're hearing to try to address a lot of issues that have come up over the phone lines. The first one is about quitting. And basically, can someone quit and still receive unemployment benefits as well as the $600 federal supplement? Under Missouri's unemployment law, most people who are currently employed and quit are not eligible for unemployment benefits. If an employer offers sick leave and or other leave options to address COVID-19 in lieu of layoffs, then a person who quits on his or her own volition would not qualify for unemployment benefits. At this point, no federal legislation changes that part of Missouri's program eligibility for unemployment. Another frequently asked question is, why is there a protest period for unemployment claims? Unemployment insurance is paid by employers. There's no money taken out of any employee's paycheck to pay for it, and it's not paid for you by your taxes. It is strictly paid out of your employer's unemployment account. Because of this, employers have the right to protest an employee's unemployment claim. In fact, because employers pay unemployment out of their accounts, we at the department have to notify employers and give them an opportunity to protest before we pay their money out of their account to you. This is called the protest period and will show online on your claim as a pending protest. This is the usual part of any unemployment claim process and is a period of about 10 business days. If in the time no issues are discovered and no protests are received, then your claim will go through and the payment is made. Another very common question is, how long will it take for a claims payment to be made? Typically, you're requesting a payment 2 to 3 weeks before it actually gets to you. And then we pay you back for those weeks. Again, I stress that for each week you want payment, you must file a weekly request for payment online or through our phone system, the IVR system. If you don't pay it and you don't file the weekly claim, we can't pay it. So definitely make sure that you're making sure to file weekly, and then also if you want to be paid for that waiting week, which we've already waived, you must actually request a payment for that week. And then a follow-up question to that would be, what's the fastest way to get paid? The quickest way, if you don't already have a Missouri Access debit card, is direct deposit. So typically we process a payment to you, which you can see online, and then it takes about a day or two depending on how long your bank holds the funds before you actually get to use it. Let me just close by saying that we are working very hard to serve you, and understand that it's frustrating when you cannot get through on the phone lines. So as I mentioned earlier, please visit the website to get the latest information. A lot of your questions may already be addressed there. And if you are ready to file a claim, please do so through our You Interact system online. Finally, if you do have a specific question you can't get on the phone lines, do send us an email at esuiclaims, C-L-A-I-M-S, at labor.mo.gov, and we'll respond to you as quickly as possible. Please include your name and your phone number. And again, we're doing our best to serve you. We ask for your patience, your civility when you do interact with us. It is a historic time. We, again, are trying to ramp up our services and our resources to address your needs as quickly as possible. But please check the department's website for the latest updates about frequently asked questions, the You Interact system status, further federal guidance, and implementation of our new federal unemployment compensation programs. Thank you.
Director Hugh, I just want to personally thank you for what you're doing at this unprecedented time, and please let those frontline employees over there know I appreciate what they're doing every day and what they're doing for Missourians out there. There's a lot of people out there worried about the future, and I just appreciate them being able to take all those calls in and doing the best they can. So I want to thank you and thank your department for what you're doing on that. I want to thank all of our first responders again and what they do every day. It is a job most people don't want to do, but others expect them to do it. Our first responders risk themselves every day, especially right now. Not to mention the shortage of PPE they're dealing with. From day one, we continue to struggle with the PPE equipment around the state of Missouri, whether you're in law enforcement, whether you're in the nursing homes, whether you're in the hospitals, and whether you're the people, just everyday people that has to be out there serving people every day. We struggle trying to get all of that in, and we will continue to work tirelessly trying to get that equipment in. But for the frontline people, those emergency personnel, we're trying every day to make sure their safety, but they still answer the call every day when that call comes in, and I appreciate them for that. Today, Officer Jeremy Bowman will be with us. He's the president of the Jefferson City Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge 19, and the International Association of Firefighters. Also with us today is 2nd District Vice President Mark Woolbright, are here to discuss the importance of COVID-19 workers' compensation for first responders across the state of Missouri. Officer Bowman.
Thank you, Governor Parson, for the opportunity to talk about this important issue today. Your actions by issuing this order will have a meaningful impact on every police officer, firefighter, and paramedic that goes to work every day. As president of the Jefferson City Fraternal Order of Police and speaking on behalf of the 8,000 FOP members across the state, please know how appreciative we are. I also want to recognize the Missouri State Troopers Association, the Missouri Police Chiefs Association, the Missouri Sheriff's Association, the Missouri Peace Officers Association, and the Missouri State Council of Firefighters for their efforts. All of these groups have worked together, along with the governor and his staff, to make this announcement today a reality. Governor Parson, with your previous career in law enforcement, you know firsthand the sacrifices that all first responders stand ready to make each time they put on that uniform. The current situation, however, makes our jobs even more challenging and more stressful. The threat of coronavirus is very real for our members. In Kansas City, we have 5 KCPD members who have tested positive, with around 25 in quarantine. In St. Louis, there are 8 officers who have tested positive and 55 in quarantine. Springfield has 13 officers in quarantine and several officers waiting on test results. Many law enforcement agencies and fire departments around the state are having similar experiences. To be clear, nearly every first responder agency in the state will have a diminished workforce because of COVID-19 illness or quarantine protocols. As police officers, we never know if the next person we encounter might be exposing us to coronavirus, but that will not stop us from responding to calls when a member of the public needs us. But if we are exposed to this deadly virus, knowing that it will be treated as a duty-related illness will allow peace of mind for our officers and our loving families. The work that first responders do every day is essential. We cannot work from home. We cannot fight fires, take care of sick and injured people, or arrest a dangerous suspect remotely. We must show up to work regardless of any circumstance. The public needs us and expects us to perform our duties every day, and that's exactly what we'll keep doing. We will not waver. The governor's announcement today gives us some much-needed reassurance as this pandemic continues to unfold. Governor Parson, Director Hugh, on behalf of all our members across the state, we appreciate the order you've issued today and all the work you do to keep first responders safe. Thank you very much.
Let me just say thank you on the behalf of your entire organization, but there's never a doubt in my mind that you're not going to answer the call to duty. There's never a doubt, and that's comforting from the governor of the state of Missouri. So on the behalf of all the people of the state, I want to thank you for you guys answering the calls and going out there every day on that. So I really appreciate it. Vice President Woolbright.
I will be brief. I know you have quite a few questions, the way I understand it. So, Governor, we just, on behalf of the International Association of Firefighters and our 320,000 members across 2 great countries, and our 7,000 firefighters, paramedics and EMTs and 911 dispatchers, we greatly appreciate your support and your continued support to have our back, as well as the Lieutenant Governor's support. We've been in some pretty steady contacts with you all just over the last week or so, 2 weeks, trying to nail down this piece of legislation. And we can't thank you enough, and your staff for working very close with us. Dr. Hugh, thank you very much for your ongoing support as well. This is a big deal. This is a really big deal to our members. I can't express enough the sense of security and the stabilization that this is going to give our first responders going into these calls, going into these trying times, these difficult times, especially over the next couple of weeks when we're expecting for this pandemic to peak. And I can't begin to tell you what this means. Our members are on the front lines every day, 24/7 in harm's way. It's the pre-hospital calls before they get to the hospital, the first line of medical representation. So, again, I said I'd be brief, and thank you so much, and thanks for the support of the law enforcement as well to help get this done. And God bless you all, and thank you for having our back.
Mark, thank you very much. There's no doubt with the emergency personnel we have in this state that we've got the best on the front line of any state in the United States. I'm confident of that. And you guys are going to take care of Missourians all day long. And I just can't thank you enough for going out there doing what you're doing. It's not a good time for anybody to have to go out there as first responders, but never once has anybody faltered, and I'll say that again. So I'm proud to be able to help in a small way that we can here from the governor's office. But again, thank you and your organizations for what you do every day out there. Thank you. Kelly, a few questions today?
We do. We have several questions today. Governor, Jeff Bernthal from Nexstar. Do you expect there will be a need for overflow medical care facilities in the coming weeks?
I don't know whether there will be or not, but we'll be prepared for that. We have a team right now. Director Richardson's in charge of that, working with SEMA and FEMA. The Missouri National Guard are all working on that. We know where we consider hot spots in the state. St. Louis would be one of the first places we're going to look at to see what we can do there, and then the other regions across the state. But yeah, we got a plan in place to bring in some facilities there when that need be. So let's just hope we don't get there, but we'll be prepared if we are.
Okay, thank you. This question is from Curtis Hancock. He's with ABC 17, Fox 22. He has 2 questions. Governor Parson, since the announcement of a statewide stay-at-home order was made on Friday, April 3rd, and implemented on Monday, April the 6th, the estimate of the peak of the pandemic in Missouri was reduced by a month. Dr. Mark Wakefield from MU Health told us in a live interview this morning the stay-at-home order was the main reason for the significant change. Based on the prediction and Dr. Wakefield's assessment, should Missouri have issued a stay-home order earlier?
Yeah, on March the 23rd, we issued a stay-at-home order on March 23rd. I've repeated that a couple of times. But we actually, to the state of Missouri, told the citizens of the state of Missouri, no more than 10 people in a group, no more than 6 feet apart, social distancing. That was in effect on March the 23rd. I think since that time, people have started abiding by that rule, by that regulation all over the state of Missouri, by that order. Again, what we did on Friday, was what we did as a statewide model of what we did. But let me just say this. Let me just say this about all these models that are out there and all these theories that are out there. We know now that a lot of the models out there are not accurate. And the one thing I look at every day is what's happening in the state of Missouri. I get the models across the United States, the estimates by people do. But I'm telling you, every decision I make today is how many people are in our ICU beds, how many ventilators do we have, how many positive cases do we have, how many people are getting out of the hospital. Multiple things come into play every day when I make those decisions. And every day I evaluate that, and that's why the order was changed on Friday. And again, every day that I've been up here in front of people, I have said, Missourians need to stay at home. You need to stay at home, and we'll continue to say those very words until we get through the coronavirus.
Okay, and his second question. Governor Parson, describe the lines of communication and coordination under which you are directing the Missouri National Guard to develop and maintain with local county and city leaders as the Guard explores and identifies the local resources?
Well, I think on the local level, we keep in constant contact with them on weekly conference calls with them, but Director Richardson is somewhat in charge of that on the daily operations on that in time with SEMA and FEMA, so they're in direct contact with people on the local levels. I'm not sure what those conversations are every day, but I'm confident in the team we've got to be able to make sure that relationship between the local levels and the state level are moving forward, and I'm confident we're going to get that done.
All right, thank you, Governor. This question is from Sebastian, KBIA in Columbia. He's asked 4 questions, but the first 2 were answered by economic development, so I'm going to ask his last 2. If positive cases and infection rates continue increasing at the same rate, what's the next step for the governor to try to flatten the curve?
Yeah, I think what we're doing that right now, and I think you're seeing some success right now by what people are doing with just staying at home, staying off the highways. And again, I'm repeatedly saying this, that we're starting to see people that's not on the highways as much, and things are occurring where people are abiding by the orders that we're putting out there. I think that's the number one thing of how we're going to slow this down, and I think people in Missouri will continue to do that. I think the people of this state understands the seriousness of this situation, and I think they will abide by these orders and will do the best they can. The majority of Missourians will do the right thing.
Okay, the second question from Sebastian. Ultimately, what role does the governor see for the state government in preventing people from potentially spreading the virus?
Well, I think the same thing is what we do is we make sure you don't make contact. Stay with the social distancing laws. Don't get in bunches and stay your 6 feet apart. I mean, the things we've been saying all along. To continue to do that. That is the most important thing we can do as citizens in the state of Missouri is abide by the social distancing. That is the most important thing we can do.
Okay, thank you. This question is from Bridget Lavelle, KY3. People can't get their license or their license plate late fees waived if they're due now, unless they show up at the office in person. With the stay-home order in effect, why shouldn't they be able to do this online to avoid unnecessary contact or having to leave the house?
Well, number one, we did an executive order not too long ago where we waived that, where anybody had to go into the License Bureau offices for I think 60 days at the time. The other thing, I'm not sure why you can't do it online, but the big thing is we did the executive order. If your license were due, you've got a 60-day grace period to see where we're going to be on this. And that may very well be extended, but right now you don't have to go in and get your license renewed.
All right, thank you. This question is from Ryan Hennessey, the St. Joseph News Press in St. Joseph, Missouri. Last week you said you had talked to the mayors across the state about homeless community in Missouri. Since those talks, are any plans unfolding to address homeless shelters in Missouri? And to kind of go on with this question, in St. Joseph, one emergency the Crossing Outreach Ministry houses 60 individuals. They are practicing shelter in place, asking residents to stay inside and no longer accepting new guests. But the concerning part is the close living proximity.
Well, I think, number one, all of those are pretty well local issues. I know I've been in contact with the mayors across the state that I've talked to, especially St. Louis, Kansas City, Columbia, Springfield, the ones where probably the homeless population is the most. And I'm telling you, all of those are taking that, doing a good job with that, trying to figure out how to house them. We've been there to offer assistance if there's some way we can offer assistance in them. But again, that's going to be driven by the local levels, the local government, and they best know how to how to handle that situation. We're going to do everything we can help, but again, that's going to fall back to the local levels on both of those issues.
All right, thank you. This question is from John O'Sullivan, KMOV. The president has stated he takes no responsibility when it came to the lack of widespread access to the testing. Do you take responsibility for the lack of PPE and shortage of ventilators in the state of Missouri?
I do not, and I don't blame the President of the United States for a virus. I mean, we all have to look at this on practical terms. I mean, I think everybody in this country, and I know everybody in this state, is trying to do the right thing here, but I don't think anybody was expecting what happened with the Corona-19 virus. I think it's awful easy to sit back and put blame on somebody right now as we go through this process. But no, I don't personally think the president did. I don't think I've done anything. All we're trying to do is to do the best we can to help the people of this country and help the people of this state. And I firmly believe everybody's trying their best to make sure we take care of the citizens of this country and this state. So, no, I don't believe that's the case. I believe we're doing the things that we need to be doing as leaders across this state.
Okay, this question is from Nikki Ogle, KY3. Missouri dairy farmers are having to pour milk down the drain largely because of grocery store limits for buyers. The Missouri Department of Agriculture has now called for stores to remove those limits.